Hi, I'm the Moroccan Angel, and I'm here to help others set things right with their Maker.
It's true. I've never met a real Christian. I've known a vast number of people who profess to be Christians, and they're convinced that it's true. But according to what Jesus defined a Christian to be, a real biblically defined Christian, no, never. I've never even heard or seen one outside of the Bible, not through social media or public appearances. Only self-proclaimed Christians. Some of my darkest days were a result of trusting people who proclaimed to be a Christian, but in truth, they were not. And to be fair, it's not just Christians. I met professing Muslims as well. To be more exact, people who profess to love and respect God with their tongues, but their heart and actions declare the complete opposite. The Creator proving them to be liars before my eyes. He said they honor him with their lips, but their hearts are corrupt. You know, a lot of individuals who profess to be Christians measure the authenticity of their claim by their quote unquote love for others or their charitable acts, going to church, controlling their temper, quote unquote fighting temptation, or sharing the gospel with others. And while some of these descriptions play into it, it is not what defines a real biblical Christian. And you know, when you really think about it, all of these things can be imitated, which is basically what we're really seeing today. Individuals who have read the Bible or came across the message, and they have agreed with certain aspects of the Christian doctrine and decided to implement certain practices and behaviors through their own efforts to mimic the biblical representation of a Christian. This is why you'll hear modern Christians use terms like it's a process, or no one's perfect, or we're all sinners, or they're struggling with sin. Many of these professing Christians you'll find in bondage of some sort, spiritual and physical, addictions, mental torment, oppression, possession, sickness, and disease. And because the Christian narrative is constructed as somewhat of a theological escape clause and provides a good measure of psychological comfort, the mind rejects or ignores the cognitive dissonance at play. An example of individuals who profess to be Christians, but in scriptural truth they're not, would be, let's say, men who claim to be Christian but exploit women and children. Some men are now exploiting other men. Another example would be individuals professing to be Christian while committing adultery or being promiscuous. Individuals who are in some form of bondage, as I mentioned earlier. Individuals claiming to be a Christian while smoking cigarettes or weed, on prescription medication or street drugs. Individuals who are sick and diseased, suffering from mental torment such as depression, anxiety disorders, or attention deficits. There are individuals who profess to be Christians, but they have a filthy or irreverent tongue, using expletives. Men who profess to be Christian but experience wicked thoughts, including forbidden lust or thoughts that are against the natural and spiritual laws and order of God. All of these examples can be scripturally confirmed as individuals who do not possess the true indwelling spirit of Jesus, as defined within the New Testament scriptures. They did not experience the biblical supernatural rebirth that Jesus described. Hear what I'm saying. I can scripturally confirm this. The problem is that most self professed Christians do not truly seek to be challenged or exposed. They prefer to be confirmed and reassured in what they already believe. This is because their faith is rooted more in emotional comfort than in factual or scriptural truth. making it a belief system built on feelings rather than scriptural evidence. Now, when faith rests on emotional grounding instead of careful examination, it becomes especially difficult to shift one's thinking because any challenge presented feels like a threat rather than an invitation to grow. This difficulty is especially heightened for individuals with low emotional intelligence, who often lack the self awareness, the resilience, and the critical reflection needed to separate their personal feelings from objective truth and to confront these inconsistencies in their own beliefs. So, a true test of whether your faith is emotionally assured rather than fact based can be seen in how you respond to difficult spiritual claims. For instance, I'm going to present a scriptural or New Testament truth to you based entirely upon Jesus' own words. Are you ready? No real Christian physically dies. Let's scripturally walk through this. In the Christian book of John, chapter 11, verse 25 through 26, Jesus tells Martha at Lazarus' tomb, "And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die." Do you believe this? Jesus is addressing post resurrection reality. Whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. This is after the resurrection power has been unleashed. Let's break this down further. He who lives, the original Greek word zao, meaning the physical life of the body, to be among the living, to live. He who lives and believes in me, places their confidence in him, is what he's saying, shall never die. The original Greek word for die is apothnesko, meaning to physically die. It is literally the physical death of the human body. Jesus, the one who is clear and direct with his words, let your yes be yes and your no be no, has just promised immortality to those who truly put their confidence or trust in him. This is not a metaphorical construct. This is consistent with the pattern he demonstrates through his own bodily resurrection and the raising of Lazarus. There was also an incident where a multitude of dead saints resurrected at the time of Jesus' resurrection. This emphasizes the Christian narrative of Jesus' power over death. The physical death of the body is actual, observable, and physical, not just symbolic or spiritual. It is physical. Apothnesko exclusively means the death of the physical body. Now, this is a problem for the self-professed Christian because millions of Christians have physically died, which directly contradicts Jesus' promise. For someone whose faith is emotionally grounded rather than fact-based, this creates cognitive dissonance. Instead of facing the observable reality and questioning their assumptions, they often psychologically reject or reinterpret the text to preserve emotional comfort, rather than facing the truth of what the scriptures actually record. This unwillingness to reconcile scripture with reality exposes the limits of a faith that relies on feelings over factual engagement. Now, I want you to see something. By definition alone, okay, perhaps it's just me, I'm going to expand the invitation to my listening audience. I may have never met a real Christian, but have you? Remember, they must at least be alive, still in the land of the living. And by definition alone, identify them by the sheer definition of the word Christian. I'm not going to delve into the heart of the biblical confirmations in identifying a Christian. I'm going to stick with the sheer definition of the word alone. A Christian is defined as one who steadfastly follows or obeys the teachings and commands of Jesus, manifesting the true indwelling Spirit of Jesus. Did you get that? Not only must they be alive, but they are sinless, and they manifest the genuine indwelling Spirit of Jesus. Maybe you know someone who knows someone, or maybe you are that someone. Introduce me. I'm the Moroccan Angel. Remember, do what is right, always. It matters.